Hi, this is Lori with Lori's RV Life, and today we're making pomegranate jelly. So the first thing you're going to need is your canning processor pot. This is for water processing. It comes with, or if it doesn't come with, then you need to make sure you have something like this. This is a rack that goes inside the pot after you get the water in it, and it keeps the jars from banging around on the hot surface on the bottom, keeping them from breaking. So with this pot, you're going to fill it at least halfway full of water, depending on how many jars you end up with, because you want the jars to be 1 to 2 inches underwater. You want the lids, the top of the lid of the jar, to have at least 1 inch to 2 inches of water over it. Okay, so we're going to put that on the stove. Next thing you're going to need is this pan, or a pan this size, to put your lids and rings in. You're going to wash them hot soapy water, put them in the pan like this, down inside, like this, so that when you use this little tool, which has a magnet in the bottom, this will have hot water in it. You just reach in and pull it out and set them right on top of your jars and screw them down. Makes it a lot easier. The cookbook that I'm going to use today is this. It's a ball canning cookbook, and the recipe for the pomegranate jelly is on page 112. So other than this, for one of the tools that you're going to need, you're going to need a metal whisk. You won't catch me using a wooden product in my cooking for canning, because you can't sterilize a wooden spoon. You can't sterilize anything wooden. So this is what I use. This is my go-to. And this makes it really easy to mix up the Sure Gel when you put it in, as well as the sugar or any other product that you incorporate into what you're getting ready to can. So you'll need a funnel. This just gives you a bigger target when you're putting your food inside your jar. So get a funnel. The jars you can get at Walmart, Target, any grocery store, even Goodwill. The lids and rings, however, I would always buy these, the lids, new. You're not supposed to reuse them, because the seal is only good for one processing. These you can use over and over and over. When they start getting rusty, just get rid of them. The next thing you'll need is a ladle. Again, that is, you're going to take your hot stuff out of the pan and dump it in here. Being careful not to close the bottom of it off, because it'll bubble up. The air comes out of the jar as the food goes in, it'll bubble up and you'll get burnt. So don't do that. Next thing you'll need is a jar picker-upper. You'll hold it by these black things, and then just open and close. And when you're putting your jars into the pressure cooker, or today like we're using the water bath canner, it keeps you from having to put your hand in the water, getting a steam burn or whatnot. And you also use it for taking the jars out once the processing is finished. Next thing, of course, you're going to need is your measuring cup. You're going to have to measure your sugar, going to have to measure your water, going to have to measure your fruit, or anything else you're cooking. You're going to have to measure it. Some people double recipes. I'm just not that confident to do that yet, so I usually follow the recipes. Next thing you're going to need is your Sure Gel. You can use the regular Sure Gel. Again, you can pick it up at Walmart, Target, any grocery store. When you're getting ready to use them, always check the side label and make sure that they haven't expired. Why go through all this work? And it is work to do canning, just to have something expired, have it not set up. The other thing you could use if you were trying to reduce your sugar intake for any reason is the no sugar needed. So yeah, Sure Gel has both products. So you can use either one of these. Next thing you're going to need is a lot of sugar if you're making jelly. Or you can use the stevia or any sugar-free sweetener that you'd like. The other thing you're going to need, other than your product, if you're doing canned apricots or canned peaches or any kind of a jelly, or if you're doing bean, you're going to need your product, of course, and any spices that go along with that. The other thing you're going to need, and I use this pot for a lot of things. I do have a bigger one, but with the jelly, it calls for, I think it was 3.5 cups of the juice. I'm confident it will all fit in here without bubbling oil, and I'll show you that too. Just wanted to bring you back and show you the full rolling boil that's your goal when you're stirring this for the last minute. You want to keep it at a full boil. And there's my 1 minute timer. Let me turn this off. And get my jars out. I'm liking that one. 2, 3. Okay, so I've got my jars out. And start filling them. I don't know if you can hear or not, but this pot is just starting to get a good boil on it. So I put the previous batch in, and I'll get these filled up and get them in there. And then I'll have 6 jars in there processing, and then I'll be done. The half a gallon of pomegranate juice that I have in the fridge, in the fridge. I'm just going to save that because I love pomegranate juice, so I'll just drink that. And it's only a half gallon, so I'll just have to suffer through drinking it. Because if you put it down like this and your hand's here, I'm going to take my hand away, but usually it'll bubble up and it will scald you. This stuff is hot. So, you know, don't put it, oops, got too much. Don't put it all the way down against the funnel bottom. Just let it pour in there gently. Yeah, that one has too much in it, but what I'll do is I'll just grab a spoon and I'll just spoon some of that out, and then I'll make sure I wipe the rim off really good with the vinegar on a paper towel. Pour my extra in here. That'll be good. So I got a half a jar for myself. And usually, you know, there's no way I could eat all this stuff. I can a lot. So, usually I give a lot away, but I do keep little bits for me. This one, take a little bit out of each jar, or out of this jar, and put it into each one of these, just to kind of if you got between a half an inch and a quarter of an inch head space, then you're good. Okay, so there's that. Oh, I guess I'll have to. Yummy. Okay. So then again, you're going to take your paper towel, wet it real good. Don't be afraid to get it, you know, soft and wet. Hot. Go around the edges a couple of times on each jar. This one's going to be messy. See? That's what you're trying to make sure you get off of the edge. See all that? Because that'll gum up underneath the lip of the lid, and then you won't get a nice seal, and then you'll have a wasted product. And like I said before, it's a good way to double check your rim or your glass edges Make sure there's no chips, no cracks, no gunk on them. I'm going to keep checking the rag or the paper towel. So that's it. That's what you need other than a lot of paper towels. Oh, there is one more thing. You'll need paper towels. And usually what I do is I tear off one thing and fold it up like this and dip it in a little container like this that I've put vinegar in. The reason for that is you dip your paper towel into this, and then just in case you've gotten anything on your glass, you just wipe it off. You want this top edge to be super clean and free of any kind of food product or oil at all. Because if it's not clean, and if it does have stuff on it, you're not going to get a good seal when you do this, because it's just not going to work. You have to have this clean. So I always use vinegar to do that with, and I just use white clear vinegar. Other than that, I think it's it. Okay, so the reason I got the vinegar is because even though I used a funnel to keep the jelly from getting on the edge, inevitably some is going to do it. So I just kind of get my paper towel nice and wet and wipe down the edge. And this is your last chance to double check your jar edges to make sure there's no cracks, to make sure there's no chips, because that will also give you a failed seal. Whoa, hot. Yeah, they're really hot, so be careful. Wipe them down really good. Wipe it down again. Make sure you get a nice, clean, unchipped surface. And you can feel it through this paper towel if it's got a chip in it. And I change it a lot to a clean side. And give it one last, just so I'm sure that they're nice and clean. Okay. Then you're going to take your handy dandy little tool and dip it in your water. See how it just picks up? Kind of nice. You don't have to reach into that hot water. Then you just set it down on top, push the lid part of it, and give it a twist, and it sticks. And then give it a finger tight twist. That's about all you're going to be able to do because it's pretty warm. With another one. Don't worry if it separates like that. It'll go right on there. Put that on. Give it a little twist. Finger tight. Finger tight. And do the same with that. Okay. So once we're done with this, I'm going to pick them up with these guys, and I'll show you. That way your hand's not touching the hot jar, because it is hot. And you're going to get a pot holder, maybe. And you're going to start setting your jars on the rack in here. I'm going to drop it down right now because it's going to be crooked. Not enough water. See? I told you. Alright, so my jars are in. And I'm going to take some water from here and just add to it so that it covers my lids. Okay. There's the final product. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Pop, pop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5 jars out of, what did I have? I had two half gallons, and I used a little over half of the second gallon. So there you have it. A little video on how to make canned pomegranate jelly. I appreciate you watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll subscribe, share, and click that little thumbs up button at the bottom. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them below. I read each and every one of them. Thanks again so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.